Because of the Japanese unwillingness to surrender, the United States planned to actually invade Japan in a plan called Operation Downfall. This wasn't a new idea. The United States had already begun bombing the country, and on March 9th and 10th of 1945, the Allies bombed Tokyo, killing 100,000 people and destroying over 16 square miles of the city. The casualty estimates for the Operation Downfall were as high as over 1 million. The Allies were tired of losing so many lives at this point in the war. In fact, the U.S. lost more servicemen in just the past year of fighting in the last few months in Iwo Jima and Okinawa than they had in all the years prior to 1944. The U.S. wanted to avoid prolonging the war, especially after the war in Europe had already ended. Because of this, President Truman decided to use the atomic bomb to put an end to the war. The first bomb was dropped on Hiroshima on August 6, 1945, and speculatively, over 100,000 were killed. It's hard to give exact numbers related to these bombings, especially because some were killed immediately because of the blast, and some were killed later due to radiation, and some years later because of the after effects. 3 days later, on August 9th, a second bomb was dropped on Nagasaki. It is a little bit smaller than Hiroshima, but between 60,000 and 80,000 were killed by this blast. There are arguments that even the Battle of Okinawa had been more costly and that it killed more people than the atomic bomb droppings, although a counter-argument is that Hiroshima and Nagasaki had many more lingering effects from the bombs due to lingering effects like cancer, radiation, and having to deal with the aftermath and the cleanup. After these bombings, Japan does finally surrender on September 2nd of 1945. They officially signed the papers to end the war aboard the USS Missouri, and that is the end of World War II.